Combination.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. MissNatasha here. Hope you're doing well. I am the host of the Create Don't Hate Show, and I'm just super excited to once again showcase someone special. I have three words that I thought of when I thought of asking this lovely person to come and spend some time. And the first one is dedicated.
Mhm.
The second one is like two-parter, community oriented. And the third is just loving.
Oh,
So those are my three words that I thought of. And if you could please introduce yourself and tell us a little about who you
oh my gosh, Natasha, Miss Natasha, that was amazing intro. Thank you so much for having me. My name's Alethia Cadore, and I am the CEO of MIndilike Consulting and Community Practice, Inc. I'm a psychotherapist that has a private practice and it's growing. And what I do is connect in two parts, connecting with my community. And you were right in terms of mentoring students that are in psychiatry or in child and youth care. And I offer internships into my practice. I like to advocate for the community in terms of making sure that we get our needs addressed. And also, I like to highlight people just like yourself in the community that are doing great things. And you wrote an amazing book, and I wanted to honor the work that you do. So I put your name forward for a nomination, and you were chosen by the committee for Author of the Year. So congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
I think it's so important for us to elevate people in our community that are writing and expressing themselves because I want young people to know that this is a pathway that you can take for yourself just to express, but also it can be lucrative for you. And I always like to highlight people that are doing exceptional things.
Thank you and thank you. I didn't meet so much Grenadians in my life. It was such a great time. Like I was
Yeah, it was
overwhelmed with
fun.
joy, you know?
It was
So
fun.
I thank you so much for that
Yeah, cool.
experience and everything. I,
Yes.
I call you in my head, Dr. Alethea.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm gonna work on that for sure.
Because
Hey,
you're
declare
just
that.
the doctor of all trades.
That's great, especially when it comes to community. That's the type of
Yeah.
title I definitely
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
have.
It
Yeah,
like really
trying
does
everything.
resonate with you and what you like you put all it's a holistic uh
Yes,
uh, practice and you
mhm.
actually practice what you preach.
Yes, yes. And it's so important for us to do that. I don't want people to see me one day saying, yes, no cruelty to animals. And then the next day I'm wearing a fur coat or something,
Mhm,
which, you can if you want to, but
mhm,
that kind of strays away from the message of what it is that you're trying to do. And I
mhm,
think it's so important for us to start early, talking about the choices that we make and
mhm,
especially when it comes to our health. Sometimes we can't help it with our living conditions, but there are some things that we can kind of look into that would kind of help us in
mhm.
the long run just to live a longer and more healthier and stress-free life.
Thank you for that because we all need it. Black does crack, we just can't see it.
Yeah, and that is so true. And it's in so many ways than one. It's just not a physical thing that you can see, right?
Mhm,
It's also something that we've been forced to, unfortunately, have to hold in and suppress some
mhm,
of our emotions so
mhm,
that it comes out in a physical illness. Sometimes it comes out in something that, our parents would say, oh, we could see it on your face. When if you're going through something. So we
mhm.
just want to make sure that even though we are going through something, we're acknowledging it, but we're also going to be putting in some strategy of how we can manage it so it doesn't overcome us. And, we're looking at other things that we're going to need to heal ourselves.
You're hardworking. I just thought of a fourth word.
I
You're
know, right?
hardworking.
Remember what I think, I don't know if I told you this, but I was just saying to a friend the other day, I grew up in that culture where, you have to have more than one job. And if you don't have another job, people would look at you like, what? What do you mean you only have one job? Like, how are you surviving? And that's unfortunate that in our community, we're not making the amount that we need to make for so many reasons that are popping up now. And we realize that we weren't having the equity in pay.
It's not just in our heads anymore.
Yep.
Work just one, two, three more, six more, 10 more years. No thanks.
No. Right. And we're catching on and we're realizing that there's other ways of doing this.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship could be a path, trades could be a path. So it's not like these things weren't there before, but we weren't offered these options. And
Mhm.
now, we're making sure that we have that representation from people like myself and people like you. When
Mhm.
someone says to me, "Oh, what's the latest book you've read?" I said, "Well, have you read this one?" Because,
Mhm. That helps
before
me.
when I'm in certain circles, they're like, "Oh, did you read To Kill a Mockingbird?" And I'm like,
I
"You know
have
what that's about?" What would I, why would I want to read that about a black
mercy,
man being on trial?
mercy,
Right?
man.
We're going
And
through that every day. But then when you read the top 10 list of books, there hardly is a black person in that list unless it's
mm,
or whatever, right? So I was like, no, if I'm finding an opportunity to highlight people that I know that
mhm,
have written a book, I'm gonna find a way to do that. And
mhm,
there you go. Gem FM came about and we do the show on Tuesdays. And then he's like, hey, I'm doing a community awards and I want to, highlight people. And hey, do you know people that you can nominate? I'm like, of
mhm,
course, I know a lot of people that I can nominate. So I
mhm.
consciously make sure that I interact and engage with people throughout the year so that when these things come up, then I could say, hey, let me put someone's name forward and see if that makes a difference.
And not only that, thank you for that. You're building your own wellness through community. So like
Hmm.
you're doing double service.
Yes, and I was just reading, well, I was watching an interview before I came here, and
Mhm,
they were talking about the unsung heroes in the community and
mhm,
some people that are doing amazing community work.
mhm,
And they're not even getting recognized. It's usually a
mhm,
certain agency or certain name. And
mhm,
I thought, no, because your book is so powerful.
mhm.
And you know how many young people I've met that were struggling and they were able to pop into my office when I worked a full-time job. Now I have my own practice, it's different. And they would just sit and say, you know what, I just want to thank you because I had this thing when I was in high school and it followed me here and I never knew that I can get so much support. And I'm like, yeah, what makes you think that you're any different just because you're Black? And they saw me and I would make sure that
That's
they
right.
got the time that they needed to finish their exam. I made sure that they had the extra time that they needed to complete an assignment because I've been there. So, and I thought all Black students should get accommodations, you
Listen,
know? So
listen.
it's just all those things. But now it's more socially acceptable. And if you reach out for help, you're going to get the tools that you need. And I love that.
Mhm. We didn't even get started with the questions yet. So I'll start off. I'll start
Okay.
off. Did the industry you're in choose you, or did you choose your industry?
Oh my gosh, the industry definitely chose me. I still remember to this day what I was doing when I decided to get into the field that I'm currently in. And as a high school student, right next door to my high school, there was this clinic. It's called the Child Guidance Clinic.
Hmm.
The name of it now is Yorktown Child and Family Services, and
Hmm.
I think they're still around.
Wow.
And I was thinking of doing a co-op placement because I wanted to be a teacher when I graduated from high school. I liked working with kids, and I thought, hey, I don't mind doing that because it seems like something I could be good at. So I
Mhm.
got a part-time job at the clinic. And while the parents were in group therapy,
You love them.
Yes, I would work with the little ones and we would play a lot of games, play a lot of cards, just keep them occupied. And then when the social workers would finish, they would tell me, oh, we had this session. And I thought, hey, I don't mind doing that. So
Wow.
one day I was just lying on my bed because I had a job and it was a Canadian Tire. And it was at Keelan 401 at the time. I was working at the gas bar and somebody drove up and they filled their gas. And he told me he didn't have any money. And I'm like, okay, well, the procedure is you leave your driver's license, then you go and get the money and you come back. But he took off on the highway and he never came back. And my boss told me the next day, oh, you're going to have to pay for that. And I said, what? I'm not paying for nothing. And I said, you know what? I need a career. I
Yeah.
can't just have a job because, look at these things are happening to me. They're trying to blame me for something that wasn't my fault. I'm like, no, I'm not taking no responsibility for other people's.
Mhm.
So I was going, where was I? I think I was walking down the hallway. I must have been at either Humber College or Centennial College. And I saw the program. There was social work and I read it. But child and youth care, it just stood out to me. Working with young people that might be facing some challenges. I said, yeah, I'm living where I'm living right now. I was living in on the Jane line. And I thought, yeah, let me just apply for this and see what it's about. And I really like the courses, a lot of things on psychology and developmental growth and, just about human growth and development and science. And I really liked those courses.
Yeah.
And then it came to placement when you actually have to go into the environment and practice all the things that you've learned in school.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I was good at it until I got into a challenging position and they were going to kick me out of school
Oh.
because my supervisor at the time, she said that I can't do this job.
Mm.
This is not for me. I need to go and find something else to do. And I remember just sitting there being so down on myself when one of the teachers, she called me and she goes, you can't listen to her. You're really good at this. Just, don't listen to her. Just keep on going. And I'm so glad that I did that because look where I am today, right? Right in my own business. So I just think that's important that we just don't allow people to deter us because they do it for a reason. And then when I looked at what the person's doing today, they're a security guard. So, you know,
No.
yeah, and we have to really be aware of some of the vibrations that we put out for people.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't really necessarily mean just because they might not be good at it at that time that they're not good at
I
it.
can't evolve. Like,
Yeah, I had to learn, and maybe I could have been lacking in some ways, but
hmm,
that also actually fueled the energy to say, hey, you know what? She's definitely wrong, and these are the reasons why. So,
that's right.
I can't hold it against the person, but I have to thank them. And then I ended up growing from there, working and my last placement from internship, graduating, working there full time and then working in a hospital, which
Wow.
was so exciting for me. I never thought that I would be doing something like that, but it really gave me a lot of opportunities. I learned a lot, working in psychiatry with doctors and nurses. Yeah, so it really helped me. And
What?
then, yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
and then during the George Floyd murder,
Hmm.
I was still working at the hospital and it was the beginning of COVID. And that's when I decided, after what was happening, there was a call to action to have more therapists of color
Like,
be visible in the
directly.
community. And I said, you know what? Why am I working for other people? I think this is a good time for me to start working on my own. So all the doors just started aligning and opening up once I decided to do this for me and help my community. And then I just started connecting with people that were already in the community doing some things, but they were able to say, hey, go on this platform. They would invite me to another webinar, or I took a business course that someone mentioned to me. So all these things started helping me be prepared to launch my business so that at the closest end, before I, finish my business program, I started to launch my practice in October
Wow.
2020. And then it's 2025 now, and I'm here.
Wow. Round of applause.
Thank you.
That's elbow grease. That story is just about elbow grease. You put elbow grease into your life, you planned it out, you stayed away from, like, obviously we can't stay away from all things, but you kept that mindset and those blinders on
Mm-hmm.
and got things done.
Yeah. And, there's still those days when I'm thinking, oh my gosh, did I make the right move? But I've met so many people and I've done so many things within the 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been really rewarding.
Yay. That's what I love about talking to you, because you're about elevating. And if it's not about that, then see you later. Like I don't really know you all that well, right?
Well,
But
that's good.
can catch that, right? And you're
Yeah.
still a giving person and all this and that and loving person, but it's just like I work too hard. Like that's like to me, this is what I'm hearing. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
about standing for the things that are right, and you're doing it through building your community and other people outside of the community. But it's like, who's building? It's like they're guilt tripping us to think that we're not supposed to be able to love everyone or love one another, but we can do that. We just have to show
yeah.
more love to our own people because it's clearly needed.
Yeah, it is. And I know a lot of people used to tell me in the beginning, oh, we think you're fake.
Right, like this kind of, yeah,
Because I don't believe that I'm actually this
like this
nice.
kind of
They're
thing.
like, oh, what happens when you go behind doors? Like, are
I
you?
have, well, do you want to try to test it? You want them? Do you want to dance? No, I don't think so.
Well,
You
I
know?
mean, I think there's wisdom and maturity that happens in
Mhm.
time. But don't get me wrong, if somebody was to step on my corns, I'm
Right,
not gonna just say, oh, it's okay. I
right,
mean, if it hurts, it's gonna hurt. I'm gonna let you
right,
know.
right.
But other than that, in time we do kind of mellow out a bit, and I am always this consistent when it
Mm-hmm,
comes to my personality. I've always been like this.
mm-hmm,
Maybe more vocal than I could have been when I was younger. I don't think I talked
mm-hmm,
as much as I do now. Um,
mm-hmm.
but then I just know my parents, they're talkers, right? Like when you get them in their room, they're just going. So I'm definitely know that I got it from them.
And you're utilizing it in an appropriate fashion.
Yes,
You know what I mean? All right, I'll keep going. What are the skills you would use the least within your field?
well, I think for me being the empathetic person that I am, I'm always trying to look at different reasons why these things were happening. And I remember, someone mentioning something to me, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm rhyming off, wow, there could be some layers to this. And they're like, can't you just see it for what it is? And I always say no, because I always find that there's always some other layer or some other complexity. And I'm always asking why, like, why are these things happening? Where people might just say, oh, well, I'm accepting it. It is what it is, where I'm not that fixed in
Mhm,
my thinking. Um, I'm a little bit more curious. I want to understand what would make someone get to that conclusion or
mhm,
why they thought the way that they did at that time. Um, where in fact, it might not even make a difference, but for me, I think that's just the therapist part of always wanting to investigate things and try and figure out why this is happening and why
mhm,
do people think like that. So for me, I think that's where I get caught up in that adventure of just my own thinking, because I could just think up the wildest thing. It might not even be facts,
that's so
but
true.
I just get myself lost in those thoughts sometimes.
Mhm,
Other than that, um, I really like what I do, and I've think it's because of the fact that I've seen people at their lowest or,
Mm,
just really having a hard time managing things.
mhm,
And with time, they're able to normalize whatever that means for them, or just have a life that's more easy and more relaxed than the stressful one that probably caused them not to feel well. Because they were able to say, you know what, I don't like the way that I'm living right now, and I want to make some changes. And
mhm,
when they're able to do that, then I'm like, hey, I'm here to support you. What is it that you'd like to change, or how can we help you manage those steps? Because obviously, if they're reaching out, that means that they've made a decision that they want to do something about it because it's really causing some barriers for them.
yeah,
But other than that, I genuinely come from a family of people that worked in hospitals or, always were community advocates. So I've always had that instilled in me that you need to give back to your community.
let's be of service. Yeah, be of service. Okay, thank you for that. How do you maximize the return on your time?
Well, you know what? I think things have really changed for me because I have my own practice. And right now I have an operations manager that mostly takes care of some of the heavier stuff so
Mm,
that I'm able to come to these meetings and be out in the community, representing what I do.
mm,
And I realized that I need a team of people to do it because of the fact that I have these big ideas and I have big dreams for my practice. And, I'd like certain things to go well.
mhm,
So, in that aspect, um, I'm going to try my best to have a plan of how I want to go about building and growing my business. And I've taken some chances in applying for grants. I haven't heard anything yet,
mm,
but that's another option. So just looking at those opportunities and avenues where I can increase my visibility and so that people can gravitate towards, what I'm doing and want to consult with me. So that's what I'm working on is just increasing my visibility in specific spaces so that Minds I Like becomes on the minds of the people that when they're ready to get some help, they would reach out to my practice.
I like how you said that because what I learned in the last 5 years is that you can't uh, you can't help people who or assist people who don't want to be helped.
Yeah, and I think we all have a stigma of what they think therapy is about. And I say therapy is for a couple of things. Yes, you might have some childhood trauma that's holding you back and you need to have it addressed.
Yeah.
And it's not about sitting on a couch and blaming your parents,
No.
because there are some times when, yeah, there are some things that we need to work from the back of when we were children and it's
Yeah.
affecting us. But you might just need somebody subjective to talk to because the people around you might all have the same type of mindset. So
Mhm.
you might rather you'd rather talk to someone that has a different perspective,
Yeah.
or there's something that's really plaguing you and you just want to check to make sure that you're
Mhm.
mentally okay. So there's so many different reasons that people go to therapy. And I've had, a lot of people say to me, they'll have an appointment and they're like, okay, well, what's wrong with me? And I'm like, well, why do you think there has to be something wrong?
Yeah.
You might be doing something right and you just need the validation and the encouragement,
Yeah.
and then it can get into mentoring and coaching. So there's just so many different options, but I think it's always important to, yeah, find somebody that you can connect with.
Mhm.
um Everybody has a 30-minute consultation that you can meet with someone and talk about, your needs, and then you could feel if it gels with you.
Mhm.
And I would say to people, just make that choice and then reach out.
Mhm. there's so much stigma, and I it's so much better to talk to someone. Like, it's just so much better, and sometimes, yeah, we supposed to keep our things, like, it's like a mix between, when they say keep things to yourself,
Mm,
and then, like, and then they're just like, "Oh, I'll just keep it to myself," but
mm-hmm.
you don't have to. You
Yeah,
don't
you don't
have
have
to.
to. Yeah. And who is this person? Like, who is this person that's
Mm,
saying keep it to yourself? Like,
mm,
where do we get those messages from? Like,
mm,
what's the worst that would happen if you actually let someone know that you weren't okay?
mhm. I think that's why I started, have I was thinking about mental health far, far younger than I've ever anticipated doing. So I just didn't know how to execute and which way I wanted to go.
Mm.
And now that I know, it's like, and if you hold yourself at a certain level of mind, then you can transcend all the naysayers.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah.
won't be they won't be around, and talking about it, talking to the right people, and they say, if you're the sixth person, wherever you are, if you're the sixth person in a doctor's office, if you're the sixth person in a bar, if you're then you're that. You're gonna be the I cannot saying it right. You're gonna be the if they say everyone around you is not very smart, you're gonna be the sixth
Oh,
on,
yeah, yeah. You are
you know,
the sum of,
yeah.
yeah, this people in the room. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
When I found out, I was like, damn, let me just go over here a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do that. I have to figure out what's really going on with life so then
Yeah.
I can be of more service. Right?
Okay.
And that's what brought me here. So in saying that, what are you most proud of?
Oh my gosh. I think I'm the most proud of following through with my
Mm,
dreams and my vision. It was a big fear for me to make that change because I didn't know how it would be received in the community, in the space, but everyone embraced me. I mean, I remember when I first came up with the name Minds I Like, and I was just in the bathroom and I was thinking about the great minds that think alike. And then I'm like, well, what about the minds that I like? Where are the people that are doing great things in our communities? And then I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to name my business, Minds I Like. And then when I did my title search, they told me that that's the only company with that name in Ontario. And I just went wild because there I am, just listening to my inner voice that comes from that higher power. And they said, hey, why don't you just use this name? And I just thought, okay, sounds good. And then I've been using it all ever since. And yeah, it's catching on as a brand. And yeah, they know exactly when they see Minds I Like who it is.
amen to that. How do you embrace failure?
Well, I still gonna be honest with people out there. I do get upset and disappointed, but I realize after taking some space, Um, some of these things I've done to myself because I decided to make that choice and I went in that direction and it didn't work out for me. So part of it is for me to take responsibility and hold myself accountable for the choices that I made. And then the other part is that yeah, even though you need to be a little bit more vigilant with those choices, that ultimately, it is going to fall on you. So you want to make sure that you're checking things out, um, asking around if you need to ask around, Some things, depending on what it is, may have a reputation that follows it. So make sure that you do your research, search it out, get the answers, and then, you decide. And then if it's difficult for you, this is where MIndilike comes in. Because not only do we work with individuals, we also work with business owners that might be struggling in entrepreneurship. And I'm an entrepreneur myself. So why not reach out to me? Because you'll be getting that advice, you'll be getting the support that you need, and then we'll always work on a plan that addresses your needs.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, like, if you're not someone who's good at making a plan or a goal, it can also going to someone like yourself could also help to pave out the path. You
Mm-hmm.
know, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been there.
Mhm,
So why not seek me out and and get that navigation so there's some things that you don't have to go through. You
mhm.
can avoid. But I remember when I'd have young people say to me, "Well, miss, that's your journey. It doesn't mean it's going to happen to us." But there's
Yeah.
so many things as Black in the Black community that I'm hearing is so repetitive. So obviously, we're all been put in those positions. So I think it's time that we start listening to one another more.
Please. And I know that like there's certain stages in life where our minds are not even there yet.
Mm,
But that also means that whatever relational or generational issues that have been occurring throughout the lives of auntie, father, cousin, uncle, if we all can just check our own selves.
mm-hmm,
And they say you can't shake hands with a closed fist. So open up your fist.
mm-hmm.
You're like you have to
So
like
simple.
have
Yeah,
accountability for yourself first and before you can demand it from another.
there you go. Yeah,
Mm,
I agree with you there.
mm. All right. Thank you for that. Like, all right. I hope everyone's listening out there.
Hey, it's a great conversation. And, this is what Minds I Like is about. We're looking at all types of wellness and what people do as activities to help them relieve that stress, build resilience so they can think clearer and make better decisions for themselves. Because how many times have we made a decision so quick when we're distracted or we're hungry or we're tired and we're just like, okay, yeah, whatever. I mean, parents tell me that all the time, and then they wake up the next day and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what did I just sign? What did I get permission to?" So it's good to just slow it down a little bit. We're gonna do some yoga, a little bit of mindfulness, and then you just go about your day. But your day, you'll notice, will be a little bit more relaxed, and you'll be doing things at a faster pace sometimes, when you get the benefits of exercise
Mhm.
or movement.
Clarity. Then one of the benefits is clarity. Being able to
Oh,
see what's ahead of you. Like the other day on Saturday when it was snowing, you can't see nothing when that's how unhealed the unhealed brain looks. It looks
yeah.
like that storm that was out yesterday on Saturday night.
Mm,
And if we don't wait till or if we don't take measures to be able to see clearly, that's what we're gonna be looking through. We're gonna be looking
mhm.
through a skewed lens.
Yep, there you go. I love that analogy. Yes. We look at that and you're right. In order for us to have that vision clear, then yeah, there's some things that we need to do
Yeah. Like
there.
go see Dr. Alethia.
Yeah. Come through, peeps. Yeah. So, and even when you're in corporate spaces and you're talking to corporate people about health and wellness, yes, they might be able to do it for themselves because they have the capacity. But what about the people that are on the front lines? Do they have that capacity? Yeah, some of them do because they've worked internationally and they could support, but the ones that can't, what are they supposed to do? So, I'm just reaching out to the ones that can't. I have my workshops that are of a reasonable price, just in case your manager says, okay, this is one thing that you might need to upgrade, then there's something that they can reach out to.
And groups,
Inquire about.
you have groups as well.
Yes, and then I'm going to be having an upcoming group, but we don't have an in-person location as yet. So right now it's going to be online.
Okay. Okay.
And it's going to be a 6-week emotional mastery course where I'm just helping people understand the emotional impacts and triggers that may cause someone to feel sad or to
Mhm.
feel worried to the point where they're anxious.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about what that looks like and how it can be treated.
I'm one of those people who have very high anxiety.
Oh, okay.
So I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm
So then I'll
literally
make
one
sure.
of those people.
Okay.
I just this is one of the ways I manage my anxiety. Sometimes you have to put yourself in high anxiety spaces because
Yeah.
this is what life brings, and then it helps you to manage the next time and the next time and the next time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
breathing helps, and there's a whole slew of things. But when things are
Mm,
compiled, and then you have your home, which is supposed to be a safe space,
yeah.
and the people in your home are not being kosher.
Mm-hmm.
I could imagine how the homes of 2025, like
Yeah.
some of the homes look like, and how much people would be forever changed just by taking one of those being in one of those groups.
Mm. Yep. Yep.
All right, I'll keep going.
Are you in a lot of groups yourself?
I try to be, but no,
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm now wanting to. I was just about to say try. I am now going to create a group,
Okay.
but it's just going to be a create don't hate group, like coming in and talking about your wins and your losses. That type
Okay. That sounds fantastic.
of check-in sort of type of thing.
That's a great idea.
But it's just that I haven't really had much pull when it comes to those things, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of revamping how I look at my niche audience. So
Mm.
I'm gonna start by running how caregivers can work with persons with disabilities, seen and unseen, and how they can regulate themselves,
Mm-hmm.
help themselves be more mindful, more reciprocal in their approach towards persons with mental wellness challenges and so forth.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work it there, and then hopefully that will bring in people my awareness,
Yeah.
and then it will just then when I build the group, and then more people will come.
Uh-huh.
I've never done this before, but it's
Oh,
act
wow.
I see it uh forming because
Yeah,
I'm making a plan,
of course.
and I'm taking small steps to accomplish the goal.
Right.
Mhm. All right. Anyway, I will continue.
That's fantastic.
In your opinion, how does one become great?
Well, I think one just becomes great with hard work, and I hate to say hard work. Let me reframe that. Well, I would say, how does one become great? Following their goals and their dreams and actually executing them. Because in order for you to be good at something, you have to be doing it over a long period of time. So giving yourself the time that you need to grow into that greatness by doing service, being good to others, being good to yourself, and doing one thing that could really make a change in someone's life.
Mm. I think like you've done that even for yourself, and then you just
Yeah.
like extended, and then like just like made this space and room for other people.
Yes. And I've always been in spaces where I've witnessed people not being welcomed in. And I've always made sure that even if someone was new, I'd always say, hi, welcome, how are things? Just to keep them engaged. And I've had people say to me, hey, I remember when I first started at this job and you were the first person to say hi to me and, comment. And, I just want people to feel welcomed.
That's so great. Because that's how it's supposed to, like, that's literally, I know this is not a like a rainbow and lollipops type of world, but we could try to make it our best we can.
Yeah, if people are open to it.
Mhm. All right. What have you done for yourself in the last month?
Oh my gosh. I don't know if you saw my picture, but I went to Float Valley.
Ooh.
And it's a place where they fill up a tank, a float
Oh,
tank.
yes. Yep.
Yeah, with Epsom salt and magnesium, and that was really good. Just float there for a bit. And then I did an infrared sauna, and I really enjoyed it because I just needed that time to myself just to unwind and relax and just get those thoughts out of my brain. And I was able to do that. And I felt so rejuvenated after. And then right across the street, they had a really nice, healthy Mediterranean place. And we went there and we had salsa and all those things. But yeah, so just trying to do things that are more social, trying to get out there a little bit more. I know for February, I usually do a couple of events in the community that I attend. But I mostly leave that until summer where, things are a little bit more lively. So I would probably, you know, do the same thing. Hit up a jazz bar or uh I love music, so all types of music I would listen to, probably go dancing for a bit. I did that, attended a gala, and attend, family milestones, stuff
Wow.
like that.
That's great. All right, I'm at my last two or last no, yeah, last two questions.
Okay.
So the second last one is, how do you navigate hope?
Oh, wow. I was looking at that question and I just was thinking, how do I do that? I think it just means for me to be more faithful in my intentions and the vision that I have for myself and just to stay motivated. Because I find once I'm motivated, I'm more optimistic that
Mm,
good things are going to happen. And I always make sure that I do my affirmations just to affirm where I'm at because it's realistic to acknowledge where I am right now as we speak. And I try and do that, and then we just carry on with our day. Um,
wow.
so yeah, mostly honoring and just clearing, which is, clearing my energy, burning incense,
Mm,
just making sure that, if there is a spirit that might not be helpful, at least I put that away. And, it's not gonna bother anybody. Um, Other than that, well, I've been noticing this, people having a lot of different triumphs and challenges. So just really listening to those stories, I think that also gives me a lot of inspiration because I know, if someone's gone through it, it's gonna pass.
mm,
And I'm just going through it now. But it's a lesson that I will learn and then I can, go from there.
thank you. All right. And last one, how do you create instead of hate?
Hmm. Can you just repeat that one more time? Sorry for
How do
saying that.
you how do you create instead of hate each and every day?
well, I think it's because of the imagination that I have. And I noticed this is one thing that one of my mentors said to me. He goes, once you start minding your business, you don't have time for other people's business. And I'm like, well, that's the job that I do is knowing about other people's business.
That's true. That's true.
Right? To a certain extent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's true. Once I started really focusing on my energy of where I wanted my business to go and with all good intention,
Hmm.
it takes up a lot of my time. So when I do have my downtime, I'm just catching up on my emails, deleting stuff, or, I'm going out to certain events. So yeah,
Hmm.
there isn't any time to really gossip and do all these things,
Yeah.
because I'm just focused on business and meeting people and networking. So yeah,
Yeah.
it takes up all your time.
Thank you. That
Oh,
was like
fun.
very like you do seem like a mentor,
Oh.
and you do seem like someone who if they were needing some advice for their journey, I'm for sure like banking your name to be like
That's great. And I'm just glad that, people can come to me directly because that's what minds are like we do. There's the one-on-one therapy, the group therapy. We meet people where they're at. So, um, nothing too challenging unless I say, oh my gosh, it's challenging.
Mhm.
But other than that, yeah, always had um the best support that you can get, especially if you're a Rasta. Wow.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm going to now read my closing statement, and it's just the reason why I started Create Don't Hate.
Mm,
And then I'm going to ask if you would like to please say anything. Um, if you have anything that you'd like to leave us with,
sure.
and if you could tell everyone where they can reach you. All right, so I'll get going. And by the way, thank you everyone for being with us thus far. I just the Create Don't Hate show is just one of those things that I've always wanted to do, and I
Yeah.
started executing and making it happen, and it's been wonderful ever since.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing.
The Create Don't Hate show was born out of frustration. The frustration of individuals hating on me, on people like me because of my differences. We started a movement of hope, courage, and love to build community and connection in the process. Create Don't Hate is a real practical way of giving hope to those who have been muted and shut down just because of who they are. Create Don't Hate is an anthem that I would play to get through the tough times.
Very powerful.
So I would like to please thank you for being here, and I will ask if you have anything else you'd like to say to share, and also can you please tell us where we can reach you?
Sure. I just want to let people know that it was a pleasure being part of uh, Miss Natasha's world and connecting with her audience. And feel free to reach out to me. MindSILike.ca is my website where you could fill out a contact form. I also have a quiz going on that gives people some strategies and tips on how they could stay well. And that's on my website. It's called Take the Wellness Quiz. And I do have some events coming up, which you could check on that platform just to get more information. I already have m- LinkedIn under my name, Alethia Cadore, and mine's I like on IG. And we do individual group therapy, EAP, special webinars and workshops. Yeah, just reach out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I just feel like I'm getting closer to my greatness.
Oh, I love that affirmation. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And again, every time I hear you speak, the one consistent thing you speak about is following through.
Absolutely.
So to me, when I see you, like that's what I envision. Like that's what you do. You follow through.
Try. Yeah, I try.
So thank you
I
so
try.
much.
Thank you so much for having me. Talk soon.